Hello! Welcome to Ginteresting Conversations with me, Matt Reed, and thanks very much for, I say tuning in, but you don't tune in on the internet, do you? It's a very old-fashioned phrase. If you are tuning in on the internet, you're not on the internet, and I don't know how the hell you're watching this on your AM, FM radio. Well, this is episode 2. We had Ben Compton last week. We've got an absolutely wonderful guest for you this week. So hopefully you'll all be drinking gin along with us while I ask him questions from yourselves and questions I've decided to ask him because I'm in charge here today. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, it is free, no obligation to pay. But if you do want to, there is an opportunity for you to drop us a donation because it's trying times for everybody, especially me, because, you know, there's literally no work going on for comedy at the minute. So, or anything that requires people to be sat in a room. Like, I imagine the cockfighting world has had the bottom fall out of it as well. You know, just an example. I mean, don't endorse cockfighting at all. In fact, I'm against it. I'll need you to know that. But there is a donation page which will be somewhere along there. There it is. Look at this. And if you want to, you can get us a double. That's London price is 10, single for 5, and a treble for 15. If you want, of course, you can order to our table, which is any amount of money that you damn well please. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a lot of people very excited about chatting because they're big fans of this man. So let's introduce them. Ladies and gentlemen, go wild and crazy. I will not know if you are, but it's Tony Gardner. Hello, Tony. There he is. Hello, Tony. How are you? There we go. It's always really weird with the Zoom and everything. There's like a little moment of, is there a technical glitch? Is there not? And then everything works out fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All
exciting. Very professional. I like all your intro and everything, and your jazzy music. Feel like I'm doing proper work.
I know it's crazy, isn't it? Because proper work doesn't exist for us anymore. Yeah, that's good. Nor
actors and musicians, performers, stand-up comics as well, obviously. But yeah, it's not good.
They're allowing people to fight. They're allowed to fight. Wrestling was on apparently. The WWF.
Yeah, in America, yeah. Sort of, no crowd, but yeah, well.
I mean, that's weird enough when there is a crowd, that, isn't it? I mean, if you're beyond 14, you're still into that, there's something weird. But yeah, it's just an odd sport, isn't it?
What? I didn't even know. I thought it was mixed martial arts stuff, you know, all that business.
I know it's the WWE, you know, with Hulk Hogan and all that.
All right, okay.
And the mixed martial arts, I'll not slide them off online because they're more likely to come around and bite your lips off. But yeah, it's a crazy world. So what have you been doing to maintain your sanity?
Are we allowed to swear on this?
Oh, hells yeah. If anything, watching the dad my parents are aliens swear will be quite the draw.
No, well, fuck all.
My parents are fucking aliens.
Yeah, I've done nothing. Well, no, just sort of doing what everyone else is, really. It was quite a novelty at first, and it's sort of wearing a bit thin now, but I try and keep busy, try and exercise every day and do the shopping once a week. That's exciting. And sometimes doing a podcast. So yeah, like most people, trying to get content out there. So I do a podcast with Anna Crilly called Heavy Pencil.
I'll talk to you about that later, find out what that's all about. Yes, and of course, Ginteresting Conversations wouldn't be complete without. What gin are you drinking? There it is. Oh, is that lime or cucumber?
Yeah, only because we had a load of lime. No, never put a cucumber in gin. That's lime.
Lime.
So tonight, Matt, I'm drinking Bombay Sapphire.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice. It's one of the better supermarket gins. It really is.
Yeah, I sort of choose my gin by how nice the bottle looks, really. I'm not a connoisseur like yours, but it's always a nice bottle. That or Hendrick's are our go-to gins.
Hendrick's, the apocryphy bottle's very nice, isn't it? It's very nice.
Yeah.
You don't put a cucumber in with Hendrick's?
No, I've never have. But apparently you're supposed to, are you? That's the thing.
I mean, they're supposed to. I'm not. It's not. Gin's not my real dad. I'll do what I want. I put cucumber in before. The first time I ever had it, actually, I was doing the I think it was the Oxbridge Ball, white tie ball, because obviously I fitted right in.
Oxbridge University.
Yeah, that one. And one of them actually says, "Excuse me, are you the help?" I went, "You're going to have to move away, son." But there was a lad from Manchester, and he was serving the gins, and I didn't have the proper band. And he says, "Oh, you haven't got the band. I can't give you a free drink." I went, "Look, where are you from?" He goes, "Manchester." I went, "Who would you rather serve?" And he poured us the biggest glass of gin. There you go. Because are you from Manchester originally?
I was born in Ashton-under-Lyne, so yeah, and lived in Audenshaw. Is that near there? For about 2 years. For about 2 years, and then grew up in the West Country in Wiltshire. But yeah, so a couple of years in Manchester. So I was born there, but I apparently I used to have a Mancunian accent. But
two, that's impressive. I want
no, maybe it's 3 or 4. No, I don't know. Maybe it was a bit later than that. But there you go. Yeah, Manchester, Man United supporter.
Yeah, no, I am from Sunderland, live in Newcastle, and don't really follow football. I'm quite the anomaly.
Wow.
Yep. Well, I have got an Ablefort's bathtub gin, Old Tom. It is absolutely beautiful stuff.
What is it? Say it again.
It's the Ablefort's bathtub Old Tom gin.
Okay. And have you had it before?
Yes, I have. It's an absolute delight. This was that's a big measure.
Nice bottle. I've got bottle envy.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll tell you the best bottle. If you are live, if you're watching this with us, tell us what gin you're drinking. That'd be great. I'll be able to tell you whether you're in.
It's just you and me. It's just you and me. There's no one watching.
It's no
getting drunk.
Yeah. Don't confuse us. See, no, that's a treat. It's it tastes like. I tell you what it tastes like. It tastes a little bit like the Haribo cola bottles. It's got if you put it with the right tonic. I'm just using a common or garden tonic from Aldi. Little glass bottles. They're really nice. Have you got Aldi down? I'm
drinking it with Schweppes.
No Schweppes. Diet as well.
Inline tonic water.
Yeah. You can't.
I looked up how many calories there are in a measure of gin, and it's 50, is it 50 calories in one shot of gin?
No. Oh, it's I'm going to say it's good for you.
This is product placement.
Yeah. What this all thing?
I don't want to be. So just grab it now. Screen grab. Got to do anything to get some bloody money.
We're going to get sponsored by lime farmers as well.
Yeah.
Is your gin boring? Why not try lime?
Well, that was interesting. You had a nice taste of it. Let me have a taste of mine, and I'll give you my verdict on the Bombay Sapphire.
Give it a swirl.
Well, Matt, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting. What I'd like to say is that it tastes of gin.
Yeah. Well,
because it's gin.
Yeah, you know what you've got there is you've got.
I know that's gin, so I'm not a connoisseur like you.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
I firmly believe that it gets you there.
There's no need to be ashamed of gin tasting like gin. That's what it's meant to taste like. So well done.
I love gin and tonic. It is the only gin and tonic. Gin's the only spirit that I drink. So a nice long gin and tonic on a Friday night is a go-to drink. Really, it's the only spirit I drink. So I love it. So I am a fan.
It is a beauty. My personal favourite, Poetic License, which is from Sunderland, funny enough, which I didn't think anything good came out of. But it's no offence if you're from Sunderland, what are you going to do about it? I'll bring you. But Poetic License has got very heavy on cardamom. It's beautiful. But one of the best, Isle of Harris. If you want a bottle, it's all carved individually. Each bottle's unique, and it's made with sugar kelp seaweed that they farm off the Isle of Harris. And it's like this sounds like one of those wankers that goes, "Oh yes, I'm getting an old pair of tights in a field," but if you sniff the Isle of Harris, like just the gin itself, just have a swirl and the smell, it smells like you're at the beach. It's incredible.
Really? You're opening up a whole new world for me, Matt. It sounds fantastic.
Briny. It's beautiful. Absolutely great gin. This and the flavoured gins have all come out now, which are nice. But
yeah, I've tried a few, like the rhubarb one. I just I'm more a sort. I think I'm probably more a traditionalist if I was going to be any sort. gin drinker. And I think traditionalist is probably the longest word I can attempt in this evening's conversation, because I sort of sense it's going to go downhill a bit.
Yeah, let's make it go downhill. I'm happy with it going downhill. Because I was looking at I've looked through your entire back catalogue. I'll be honest. I'll not mention that one you did in the 70s, but no, anything. But my favourite one, which came up, because I was born in '79 and I'm a kid of the '90s, and my absolute favourite thing in the world when I was little and you were on one episode as Sherlock Holmes, apparently. You Bet.
You Bet.
You Bet.
Yeah. God, that was funny. That was it. We went on You Bet with Matthew Kelly,
yes.
And I was doing sort of sketch stuff around then and trying to branch out of doing medical comedy and things. So and I'd done some stuff with Armstrong and Miller, so Ben and Zander, and for some reason they were asked to do You Bet, and I watched it the other day because it's on YouTube, isn't it? And it was me and Zander as Holmes and Watson, and Ben was, and the bet was that he had to change costume 10 times in a 3-minute sketch or something like that.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant, and you know, because it's such a schlocky program, it was like, you know, but we loved it, and the sketch was actually written by Simon Greenall. I seem to remember that's the first time I met Simon Greenall, yeah, and we did it, and it becomes, you know, you just think, it's just going to be a bit of a laugh, but it's sort of done. It's done as live with a big audience, and when it comes to yours, you're getting really like, oh Christ, I hope we do it, and then you're in the dressing room with the firemen who are going out to chop a mini up and put it through a small hole, and then we came back in and we did ours, and spoiler alert, we got our thing. Well done, lads! I said, yes, we did it. I've still got my little You Bet badge somewhere.
That's incredible. We're
just
discussing it the other day.
You what?
Just discussing it the other day. It's such a good program. See, there's none of that now. I mean, like, I'm not going to get all nostalgic about like the Saturday morning and the Saturday evening television I used to watch, but that was genuinely fun, and you could tell everyone involved in it was it like as you just proved. Everyone that was involved in it looked like they were having so. And Matthew Kelly was
wonderful. Yeah, and he was superb and lovely. And the funniest bit, which isn't on the YouTube video, is at the end. You all have to stand on the balcony with the audience behind you and wave as Matthew does his send off. And I just remember the three of us doing a really stupid wave. We then sort of like pretending it was all like ironic and everything. But in actual fact, when you're on it, it's like, come on, we will do this in 3 minutes.
There was some absolutely ridiculous bloody challenges. That I remember one of my favourite ones was because I was discussing this when we met Sammy, and she said she tried to get on You Bet when she was a kid, and her dad used to take her around to see as many cars as possible so she could. This is real as well. So she could identify as many cars as possible just from the sound of the starter motor. Just picture that, like, Neil next to that car. Right, close your eyes. What is it?
You remember more about it than I do, because I don't remember much about it, and I don't think I ever watched it. But yeah, I was very proud to be on it. It was great.
That was a magnificent thing. I think my favourite one altogether was the 3-year-old that could identify every type of shark that they had, and there was about 50 sharks, and he knew all of them. I was just saying, fair play, mate. Well done. Absolutely incredible. But you were mentioning your medical background, but you're a qualified bloody doctor, aren't you?
I'm a bloody doctor.
You're a bloody doctor?
Yeah.
You're not being called back into the fray?
No. Funnily enough, my comedy partner, Phil Hammond, we started at Edinburgh in 1990. We both qualified 87. And Phil writes for Private Eye, and we're not in double act anymore. And he still does. He still does, you know, comedy. He does Edinburgh shows, and he writes for like I say, writes Private Eye. And he asked to go, and he still does clinical work. And he asked to go back at the beginning of all this, when it all kicked off, the Corona thing, and said, "Look, do you need me to come and help out?" And they said, "No, thank you. You're too de-skilled." And he's still working, although, you know, admittedly it's in a rather specialized sort of a specialty. But I haven't been a doctor since 2000. I think that's when I gave, or 2000 I think was my last GP surgery. So I sort of used to do GP locums, in between acting jobs. Yeah.
Oh, so you were parallel.
Like, yeah. So I went to Edinburgh and did Phil phoned me up a couple of years after. We were house officers at Bristol, and said we did the Christmas show there, and he said, "Oh, I've just done some stand up." I said, "What on?" And he said, "Oh, medicine." Did 5-minute slot. I said, "All right, let's take a show to Edinburgh." That's 1990, and that's the day.
5 minutes, let's go to Edinburgh.
But that's what you could do then. You see, you were born in 79, but you could just say, "Right, we'll put a show on," and it wasn't that expensive. I mean, you'd lose a bit, but you'd go to some. We had a midnight show in some Masonic lodge on the Royal Mile, and we sort of blanket. It's told the press that we were going to get struck off, basically, and then so the press picked up on that. It was a complete lie. It was just a medical review, and we sort of did really well. And we did about 5 years up there doing. We were called Struck Off and Die, and that was our show at Edinburgh. We were Perrier Pick of the Fringe twice down in London, and really? That's how I got into acting, and then got an agent and a Radio 4 series, and I'm doing it all very quickly, and then. Qualified as a GP, and I was still working as a GP when I started My Parents Are Aliens. Oh, spoiler alert! But yeah, and then just after My Parents Are Aliens, I sort of said I was doing less and less locum general practice and more acting, and I just thought, let's just concentrate on the acting and see what happens. So that's what I did.
That's nice. So you just turned your back on the sick for your own gain, yeah?
Yeah, fuck them.
It's the honesty that you've come for, people.
Never give a shit. Never did. I was really good at it. Oh, that does look like a very nasty sore throat. Yes, it certainly does. Oh dear. I hate. No, I was fine. I really enjoyed being a doctor. I loved it. It was all I ever wanted to do all my life was be a doctor, and I became a doctor, and it was great. And I thank it for everything that I wouldn't be an actor if I wasn't a doctor.
It sounds like backpedaling there.
No, not at all. No, I married a doctor, which is another reason why I could leave medicine and become an actor, is because I married a doctor. But there you go.
Yeah, oh, well done. Oh, she's still out in the front line, is she? While you're sitting.
Yeah. I know. It's not putting too much strain on the relationship, is it? I didn't mean that. No, she's a consultant anaesthetist, so she is on the front line, and so yeah, I'm living it.
It's a tiny Thursday clap for her. There you go. Sitting at that. Yeah, well done, her. So there's a lot of. What was it that? So you became a doctor. That's all you wanted to do. But what brought you towards that? And because there's a lot of comics who used to be doctors.
Yeah, there's a few. Harry Hill was in my year, not in my year. He qualified the same year as I did. Yeah, there are a lot. I don't know. I just think when I went to med school, we used to put on shows, and so I did a lot of shows and reviews. And I remember putting on a musical once, and the most unlikely people would say, "Oh, I can play oboe, and I'll conduct, I'll play piano," like rugby players. You're thinking, where did all this come from? It's because they all went to really good schools, and
this sounds like my skill.
They're quite good at everything. Do you know what I mean? And so you often got the ones that were quite funny, and yeah. So I can see how it happens, but I wouldn't recommend anyone to take that route. But for me, it's great. I've had 2 careers, and I love them both. So
yeah. My skill's more like, well, I can be a getaway driver. I know how to crack steps.
No, I was from a secondary modern, which I only found out 5 years ago was worse than a comprehensive. It was like one comprehensive. So yeah, I went to no one from my school did too much, but yeah. So, but people seem to think because I speak how I do is that I'm public school and doctor and Cambridge and all that, but I'm not. So
my girlfriend, she grew up in Oxford, but she was like, and she moved to Cumbria, and she was like, our mother didn't have a pot of piss in, but because she speaks slightly like this, I was doing like a drawing program just because I like to do draw for kids and stuff, and then like a drawing lesson, and I put it up for the kids, and she talks in the background, and there's some proper broad John. He's gone, well, I didn't even understand what you're seeing me like. I'm like, and what was the other one? Well, I bet his wife doesn't pump in bed. And I wrote back on a kids show, I went, I assure you, my wife loves the pump in bed, and didn't explain any further. And I think I didn't have it. So what in the lockdown, what's annoyed you the most? Because I tell you what it is with me, it's cyclists and their belief that they own 99% of the road and or pavement.
Yeah, that is annoying. Unfortunately, we live in Colchester and in Essex, and so we've got a lot of space here, and social distancing is quite easy. But, I run every day, or 3 or 4 times a week. Sorry, and I'm very conscious when I run of stopping when I walk past, when I go past somewhere. If I can't get 5 meters apart, I've chosen that, I just stop and walk past. Cyclists, because that's physics. If I'm breathing heavily, I'm going to probably be getting rid of more droplets if I've got COVID than if I'm not. So, and the same with cyclists. They're moving at speed. Just slow down, get off your bike, move. I don't know. So it annoys me as well. So yeah, I do find that annoying.
I thought I was alone, but because the joggers that come past and you think, oh, we're getting our exit.
Absolutely. Common sense, and it's polite that you should. I always stop. Sometimes I stop to let other joggers go past, and then they run past me, and I've stopped. It's like, what fucking point that? But what's annoying me?
What's the coffin?
I know, and I did it badly as well. You're supposed to cough into your elbow, of course. So I've not seen anyone apart from my. We sort of socially isolate a bit here as well because my wife's on the front line, so we're quite aware of we're probably a little bit stricter than most, I think.
Yeah, my little boy's. I say a little boy, he's 15. His mum's a nurse, so I haven't been able to see him properly since March. I went over today, and he's fine. I mean, trying to FaceTime with a 15-year-old. I mean, there's very little. Got less point. He's put I'm like, and then phone him day to day. Well, what have you done today? And I mean, the only answer you can possibly give us is slouch and possibly masturbate. I'm like, don't want to know.
I've just seen a question here saying no one has asked a question yet. They may need some encouragement, and he's either being nice or saying there's no one watching. I don't care if there's no one watching. I'm drinking. No. I'm having a really good time. But if anyone wants to ask a question,
I've actually got questions
on. I'm quite intimidating.
What was the question? 1 second. I have got a question for you from Judith Sykes. Actually, will there be another series of Last Tango? John is a good character, and did you enjoy playing him, especially when you enjoyed appearing with Ronnie Ancona?
Well, I'm going to have to now explain all that to you, Matt, because I wouldn't have thought that you're in the demographic that watches Last Tango in Halifax.
Look, I don't knit. I'm just...
Well, the BAFTA-winning drama, my just finished the 5th series, and we're written by Sally Wainwright, and it's the best job I've ever done. I love it. I play an absolute arsehole in it, and it's with Sarah Lancashire, Nicola Walker, Derek Jacobi, Annie Reid, Ronnie Ancona. And funny enough, Ronnie Ancona was at Edinburgh doing a double act with Alistair McGowan back when I started in the 90s. Great that we were coupled together on that. And so we had an absolute wild time because as soon as we got to Edinburgh, as soon as we got to Manchester to film it, I mean, Ronnie and I were just in the hotel bar. It was like being back at Edinburgh. It was fantastic. Nicola Walker, I remember from but I first met in the 90s when we were doing Struck Off and Die at the Pleasance, and they were in the Pleasance at the same time. She was in a play written by Arthur Smith called Trench Kiss that Ben Miller was in. Was that her or was she in Sod? Anyway, she was in one of those plays anyway that was written by Arthur Smith, I think. But yeah, so it's been there's some nice, great people on it, and we have an absolute ball. And in answer to your question, I haven't got your name, sorry, Judith. In answer to your question, Judith, with hopefully, God, yeah, we all want to do it. We all really want to do it. You always make me laugh when you're on the screen. Well, yeah. So I've only ever done one drama. I did an episode of Hobby City once, but that doesn't count. And I did one. I've always done comedy.
Can't be a British actor unless you have. Can't be a British actor unless you.
But I didn't mean it doesn't count and it's not worthy. It's the tiny part that I had didn't count. But so it's the only proper drama I've ever done. Won a BAFTA, and but it's the funniest part I've ever had because Sally Wainwright. Because it's just a great part. She just writes great, and it's in a way that all good dramas. It's the same thing. It should be the same thing. But Breaking Bad's really, really funny. The Americans do the same thing. These dramas, these huge dramas they do, like Succession, whatever. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
Sally Wainwright is that sort of writer. Thank you, Jim. It's very kind of you.
I do. There's some great stuff on telly at the minute. I'm watching that Unorthodox at the minute. Not.
I've got that one ready to watch. Yeah, I've just finished watching the Last Dance. Have you seen that? The documentary.
No, I haven't. I'm not particularly into basketball, but everyone said it doesn't matter.
Oh man, that was a great piece of work. I love that, and I am sort of into basketball a little bit, but not. Yeah, but I'm into sport. But that was fantastic, really fantastic.
I tell you what, I did.
I'm trying to get to grips with. I'm about 4 eps into Normal People.
I think that's a bit too kissy, love for me. Like,
like that. John Robbins was on the radio the other day talking about it and saying he can't watch it because it's too tense, and it is, because these people should be together if you've read the book especially, and you just sort of think, oh, and there is a sort of a tension about it, but it's sort of, I can see why it's popular, and I am really enjoying it. It is
good. I watched Cheer. It was the documentary about cheerleaders, and I thought my mate told us to watch it, and
I saw that it was there because you sort of go by, oh look, #1 in the UK, better watch that.
Then I watched it. And when I was watching, I was like, I don't care about these people. There's a lot of catty gay lads and a lot of done up lasses, and then it goes into the backstory, and you're just like, Jesus. And by the end of it, you're like, get your baskets right, pull this pyramid off, you idiots. I was like, whoa, come on. It was absolutely great. Loved it. And
George just asked a question. Should we answer these as we go along?
Yes, of course.
Which film or series would you like to do a sequel to? Georgia Care. Thank you, Georgia, for your question. Oh, God, it sounds a bit official, doesn't it? Would you like to do a sequel to? Oh, anything. I'll do as long as it pays. I've always said that. As long as it pays the mortgage. No, film or series would you like to do a sequel to?
Let's do film.
What ones that I'm not in? Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm very pragmatic about the business. I've gone from job to job to job. It happens to be comedy. It could easily have gone the other way, or it could have been drama, whatever. So most actors sort of go. They don't really make that many choices about things. But yeah, no, I can't. Anything that pays, really. Have you watched Afterlife with Ricky Gervais? Yes, I have. And Joe Wilkinson, who's in that.
I love Joe.
He did a guest slot in Heavy Pencil. We're putting one out a week at the moment, and he was in that. That's the only time I've met him on the end of a phone. That's good. And after I sort of watched the first series, and I can't really get into the second series, but there's lots of fantastic people in it.
Yeah, he's a lovely man, Joe, isn't he? I love Joe.
Yeah. Well, he seemed to be on the phone. He was very nice. I love him. I listen to Gossip Mongers and I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff. And
Gossip Monger is one of the funniest things I have ever listened to.
Outrageous.
Space Worm is one of the funniest episodes of anything that's ever happened. I can't recommend it enough, people. Go on after this. Go on listen to Gossip Mongers, Space Worm. One of the funniest things. Lloyd Griffith's on that episode, I think it is.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful, so good. And what was the other question? I've got another question for you. Hold on, it's on my telephone. Don't like to brag. Got a phone. From Matthew McLean. Does he ever think that John and Caroline will ever get back together in Last Tango in Halifax? Oh my God, the gossip.
So the story. I just going to try and explain to you, Matt, what it is. John and you joined the series in series 1 of the 5 that we've done. I'm amazed you haven't seen it. And prime time.
I've got it on the background now.
He's getting divorced from his wife, Judith, who comes out as a lesbian, and so no, I don't think they will ever get together. I did wonder whether she was sort of sexually fluid at one point, but that was soon sort of, I was shouted down on that. She's not. No, but they're very fond of each other, but I don't think so. Mind you, I don't want them to completely lose touch because I won't be in the series, because I can assure you Sarah Lancashire's more important to the series than I am.
Sarah Lancashire, bloody hell. Do you think it's got a cult following? Have you got a cult following? Is it cult? Is cult for a certain age? Because Pulp Fiction's a cult film, isn't it?
I don't know what the definition of cult. Probably Pulp Fiction is probably just because Pulp Fiction is cult, but in terms of I would have thought in terms of a literature sort of form.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have called that cult. No, cult. I don't know. Just sometimes people would argue that cult following just means that not many people watch it.
Unpopular.
and it's very popular, our show. So no, I don't think it is. It's just it's a very different demographic than I'm usually sort of recognized for and particularly watch. No, but it's a terrific show. It's a joy to do, and I really enjoy it.
What was yeah, because when I was researching like questions to ask you, Tony Gardner put up and it went Daft Punk Unchained. I went, what? Because I thought you were involved with Daft Punk, right? So I had a look in, and it turns out that Tony Gardner's the man that designed the masks, and it's not you. But
Tony Gardner, go on.
Tony Gardner is the same man that designed
the same way, Tony Gardner. And over the years, I occasionally get sort of letters and photographs of like Michael Jackson in Thriller. I'm going, what's this? You look at it and you realize that he did the makeup for the Thriller video. He did the Daft Punk things. He's done not Shallow Hal. Was it Shallow Hal? Anyway, he's done so much stuff over the years. All the Seed of Chucky and all that. Anyway, because he's on Twitter and we're actually friends on Facebook and everything. He's, because we've got the same name, and he's often getting asked questions and people mistaking him, and I get a lot of people mistaking me for him. He's one of the world's leading prosthetic makeup and special guys in Hollywood. Yeah.
That's brilliant. It was always like is it when you've got like when you got side dreams, you've got your main dream, but you got your side dreams. Hollywood makeup was always one of mine ever since I watched American Werewolf in London when I was a kid. John Landis, the werewolf transformation prosthetics are still.
Must have been. I wonder if that was something to do with Tony Gardner as well. I'm not sure, but yeah.
But just when I thought, all right, this Tony Gardner's cooler, I found out that, no offense, but I found out that you were involved in a music documentary as well.
A music documentary.
Was it?
I think like a quiz now, isn't it? Yeah. What can you remember about your career? I'm 56. I remember fuck all.
Yeah, you're holding out well.
No, because I love quizzes.
Quiz for you at the end. Don't you worry about
a music documentary.
Yeah. Wedding Present.
Oh yes, yeah.
Wedding Present. Yeah.
I was very excited about that. Yeah.
How did that come out? I thought you were one of the band.
Huh?
I thought it looked like you were one of the band the way you were listed on there. The way you were listed on.
God, no. It's just there was lots of talking heads. Don't know how he managed to ask me, because I'm always wittering on about the Wedding Present. I've always loved the Wedding Present. Look, he leans back and he's got signed lyrics of Brass. That's my Christmas present to Kate last year. My wife was you can ask him for 50 quid every Christmas to write out the lyrics of your favorite wedding present song.
Really?
That's Brass Neck, which is Kate's, and mine's My Favorite Dress, which is over there as well. So but for 50 quid, he'll write them out.
So you bought your wife your favorite band's lyrics for Christmas?
Oh no, she loves Brass. She had a bit of a crush on him when he was a lot younger, and so I've always followed the Wedding Present, and he was making a. So when you're on social media and things, people find these things out, don't they? So I suppose it just got to me through that, and then I just did a talking head thing, and through that it was at the John Peel Centre for Performing Arts in Stowmarket, where I did my interview because they were playing in the evening. Walked in and I immediately then meet him straight away because I had to go and do my interview during their sound check. And I met him loads of times, but only afterwards when he was selling merchandise and stuff. Hundreds of times I've seen them, and I sort of, you have your photo taken with him, and he's a miserable. He's lovely. He's a great guy. Great, Dave. Great. And so I just met him, had a chat, and it was fantastic. And then I went back to Stowmarket because they had a showing, and sat next to John Peel's wife. He used to call her the pig in a lovely way, but Sheila Ravenscroft but yes, Sheila Ravenscroft, and we sat and watched the documentary together, and it was exciting, very exciting. I don't get starry about anything in our business. I'm really not bothered about actors, and I don't know why. It just sort of like, oh hi, probably because you meet them all the time. Musicians, I lose my shit. I go to Glastonbury every year, have done for about 16 years. I go to Latitude every year. I'm a big music fan, and every time I meet a musician, and I've only met a handful, I just lose my shit. I think they're the most amazing people. And there was a great story because I was in the video. I got, again, through Twitter, I was at
Oh, yeah, you were in a music video.
I was at Glastonbury just spouting on. I've just seen this amazing band years ago, Wolf Alice. Love them, fantastic. Then about a year or two later, I get a thing from my agent saying Wolf Alice asked if you'd like to be in their video. I said, oh my god, yes, say yes. And it's a song called Giant Peach. And so I did their video, and you do a day's filming. It's mad doing music videos. It's all done in a day. And I was so excited to meet them because I love them so much. And when I met them, I went, hello, it's really nice to meet you. So I'm Tony Gardner. They went, oh, it's so nice to meet you. You're Brian from My Parents Are Aliens. They're only little mutual sort of like they'd asked to see because they were fans of My Parents Are Aliens. I was fans of Wolf Alice. It was like this weird crossover and mutual sort of like
brilliant.
A bit of hero worship. But yeah, they're a great band. Great band.
Wolf Alice, I like them. I've only ever had that once, the Starstruck one. It sharply waned, but first time I met Simon Donald, who wrote the first time I met him, I was like, oh, you're Simon Donald, the man that wrote the Viz. Oh God, you taught me to swear. And he was like, he wanted to be a stand-up, and I was a stand-up, and he was like, oh God, you're a stand-up, and he gave us a lift home. I was just like,
weird. I'm a huge fan of Viz. I'm on a mission to collect the first 50. It was going to be the first 100, but I got rid of those because it was just getting ridiculous. And I've got the first. I've got to get 1 to 9.
If anyone's got any business, let us know in the comments, and we'll sort it out. In fact,
9 and 12A, but they do come up on sale. They're just worth a fortune.
Have you got number 1?
No, have I? Heck, there's only about. I can't remember now.
It's not a lot. I always remember like the Viz. The Viz used to be.
They come on sale.
My dad used to fetch us the Viz home, and when he was a kid, he used to take out all like the like overtly sexual ones, but pathetic sharks and stuff like that. That used to make me hoot. Like, have you got any crisps or lemonade?
I've got a couple of. You can.
Hey, Sid.
Hey. And I think I've got some. I'm always sort of on the hunt for original artwork. I have got some, but not from the big artists. But on eBay, you can often see these artists from Viz often put their work up and sell them, and like whole strips.
Yeah,
you know.
I
think Viz. I think Aubrey Moore once said that Viz was one of the great. Is me pretending to be Stephen Fry and managing to quote things, but I can't quite remember. Aubrey Moore said that Viz was the most. He's a rather stuffy sort of writer. He said that Viz was one of the most fantastic, almost like a historical document of what life was like in Britain around that time. It's just beautiful. It's just so well observed, and I still do get it.
The letters page is the funniest thing that's ever been created. And the other, not so long back actually, because one of my very, very good friends, Alex Collier, draws for Viz, and I can ask him if you want, if you sort something. But he with the Viz, it's just it was my childhood, and it taught me how to swear. And he draws for the Viz, and he drew us into Sid the Sexist. It was I was under the Sid the Sexist with a gin in my hand like that. It was an episode about Tinder, because I used to be quite prevalent on Tinder before I got in a relationship, and it was an episode about Sid the Sexist trying Tinder. It's just Sid the Sexist going swipe fucking right, and me in the background going like that. Proudest moment of my life.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I do, and I've read Simon's book, and Chris, is it Chris Darcy, his brother? Yeah, I'm a huge Viz fan. It's just sort of a great thing. And we had a pub quiz the other night, and we always give each other everyone's going to do 10 questions as we're all doing pub quizzes. Yeah. And we had a really good one, and I gave them. She was a Viz fan, and their 10 questions had to be definitions of from Roger's Profanosaurus.
Oh, so good.
She had to sort of describe something, or there was all multiple choice questions about what that thing might be. It was really funny. It was really good. Well, hang on, we've got another question that's come up from you here. What was it like working with the cat from Red Dwarf when you were working on Death in Paradise?
Danny John Jules.
I've never seen really watched. I knew who he was. Yeah. He was very nice. Yeah. He's not in it anymore, I don't think. Well, he's not. I know he's not. But yeah, I was. I think I was Ardal O'Hanlon's first or second episode. We filmed out in Guadeloupe, and it's one of the great jobs for any actor to get. And they use a lot of comedy people. always have done. And so you meet up with a lot of these jobs because of the nature of what they are, like Midsummer Murders or Midsummer Mortgages, as people say. But they need 5 or 6 red herrings, and there's always need a third red herring on the left. So there's always lots of people, and it's great fun. But Danny John Jules was, he's cool, and all the regular cast lived in lovely houses overlooking the beach, and it was cool. But he was out there with family and stuff. But that's a great gig. Great. I
would imagine that, because it was like that. I mean, Jaws is my favorite film of all time, and I was talking about the other day, and Jaws 4.
That's probably my internet, because I can't hear you there. What was it like? What? Oh, hang on.
Jaws is my favorite film.
Oh, this is exciting. Is it just me now? I can't see you, so.
Oh, you can't see us? What's happening there?
We could sing a song. Hello. Right, no, I got you there where you said, what was it like?
All right, can you hear us? Is it going weird? Boys?
I can hear you now. It was weird. And you were about to ask a question saying, what was it like, or something?
So, if you get a script and it gives you an exotic locale straight away, is that you like in?
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, I have been lucky. I did a series called Bluestone 4-2 that we filmed for 3 or 4 years in South Africa, in Cape Town, and in a wine estate half an hour out of Cape Town. It was joy. It was joy. That was one of the great jobs, and and used to get the odd job in Europe and stuff, but Brexit's probably put an end to that, as COVID probably has as well. But no, I've not been that lucky. But when you occasionally get those ones, the Guadeloupe's just a couple of weeks as well. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, Jaws is my favorite film ever, and it's the whole, because it was so bad. It was the whole legend of Michael.
What film?
Jaws.
Oh, Jaws. Sorry.
Love it. Best film ever. And it's the legend of, because what was it? Jaws 4 was that bad that Michael Caine got questioned about it, and apparently he opened the script and it said fade in Bermuda. He went in.
Yeah. Very good.
But like, there was the other fantastic quote about Jaws 4. Have you ever? Because it's so bad. And the quote was, "Have you ever seen Jaws 4?" to Michael Caine when he was on this presentation. He goes, "Have you ever seen Jaws 4?" He goes, "No, but I tell you what, I've seen the house it bought."
Yeah.
Touche.
I watched a great documentary about Jaws about a month ago. Yeah, because I'm fascinated with it. Because I grew up. I must have been about 12 when it came out.
Yeah.
Probably haven't been in the sea. Well, I have been in the sea since, but it put me off the sea. But I was really into sharks, like that kid on You Bet. I really got into sharks and everything. It was just the most amazing thing. When you watch it again, making of it, very, 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 very good film.
Yeah, because he knows. Because I've got.
I was looking at you. Sound like a bit of. Oh wow, yeah, cool. Yeah. I was looking at memorabilia the other day, having watched that documentary. I went on eBay to see if you can buy, anything Jaws related, and you can, and one thing you can get, I think it's about $50, Matt, and you might be interested, is that, it's a number plate. See, you'll know this. It's number plate, and it's signed by Richard Dreyfuss. And you can get them for $50 because he's obviously done a job lot, and they're obviously connected. And you can get them easily. So it's $50 for a number plate. So what's the number plate from Jaws?
It's the tiger shark. What's in the tiger shark's belly?
Yeah. Isn't it?
Looks like it's from downstream.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Oh, I might actually get that. But I just, it's just, there's just zero flab on that film. It's just wonderful.
No, beautiful.
It still scars us though.
It's what?
Still scars you. I mean, going in the beach. If I'm in the sea.
And I funny enough, I've always hated swimming in the sea because of that film. But I do scuba dive, and I find it much easier being underneath. And as long as I'm over a little shallow coral reef, it's fine. If I start looking out in the depth, and it's quite zen.
Yeah.
Scuba diving, you have to deal with that, which is why it's really an exciting sport, because as you come up and you realize that you've got over that fear, and it's really such a buzzy sort of thing. And I'm sure it's because of Jaws has made it extra buzzy.
100%. Someone just asked this: I know Matt's got a Jaws tattoo, but do you have any tattoos?
No, I thought about getting some on my 40th and then my 50th, and I just can't think of anything I really want. But it's not beyond the realms that I'll have one day. But yeah, I really enjoy the idea of it. But I just never really. I'd love to say, oh, I really want that, because that's in Chinese. That means well, not meaning culturally misappropriate.
Because in Chinese it means.
Well, like you've got like that, you know. It's sort of, and I did. I've got 3 kids: Jack, Maisie, and Alfie. So one of our Glastonbury moments once was that I was going to have, you're all sitting around having, you know, what tattoo, and I've always wanted a tattoo of Maisie and Alfie on my arm, just so that people can go. They look at the tattoo, and you've got any tattoos? Said yeah, and they'll go, but what about Jack? And I'll go, oh fuck.
Jack's entire life's a brilliant punchline.
The eldest, and he's just part of a joke. Just go, oh shit. Tattoo ass joke.
That's very good. That's very good. Okay, here's an excellent question. Have you ever accepted a role only to find you completely misunderstood the brief when you came to do it? What a brilliant question.
You understood the brief when you came to do it. I probably have. And, you know, the worst thing is that things change, you know, and we did an episode of Heavy Pencil about it the other day, and you suddenly get, you know, you accept a job, you're really excited, and then they say, oh, by the way, there's a scene where you have to take your top off. And you go, oh, for fuck's sake, why? Well, no, it's fine. Well, I'd rather not, but then you sort of don't eat for a week, and then they say, actually, do you mind if you show your bum as well? You know, there's all those sort of things. They just, and that's from a bloke in his bloody 50s. You know, you can imagine what it's like for 20-year-old girls are in the first series of Game of Thrones and they get their norks out, and they sort of have to. And so usually you can get a good idea of it from the script, and also when you've done it a lot, like me, you're not a lot, but you know, you can spot it a mile off and say, look, tell them that I'm not doing a new thing. Tell them I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting in the corner masturbating, because that's not necessary for the script.
What script's on?
You believe me, they'll be there. They just want to. It's like, you know, yeah. I'm not going to go there, but yeah, there's
Coronation.
They can, and it happens a lot. To be quite serious, it does happen a lot to young actors, and not just about doing sex scenes or nudity, but things. And I've always said that to young actors. It's sort of, you'll get asked to do stuff on a film set that you shouldn't be doing, like driving a car. And they'll say, can you just go a bit fast? You say, just always look after yourself, because everyone's doing their own thing. They're trying to get the best shot. They're trying to get the best costume. They're trying to look at the makeup. They're doing this. You've got to look after your own safety. So if you'll be doing dangerous things in a dangerous environment, you know, there'll be driving cars, water on the set, doing that. Can you swim that? Can you? I mean, we hear it all the time in these accidents, and it's you have to take responsibility for your own safety. And I've always been quite heavy on safety, so that's the other thing. I don't know how we got onto that, but yeah.
Well,
here's a good question. Could someone update what's Grant George says? Could someone update what's happening?
Well, don't cough on anyone.
Don't look at me. Stay
alert. That's
interest. No. Anyway, Grant, it's not quite a question. I can't quite help that. No, it is a question. Could someone update what's happening? The answer is no.
No.
And then the next question: have you ever turned down a role that went on to be a big hit? No, I don't turn down roles. I very, very rarely turn down. No, I don't know. That's what I was saying earlier. You just say, yeah, I'll do it. How much is it? I'll do it. So you don't. I've been wrong about things, and for example, I did a series called Lead Balloon with Jack. It did 4 series of that, and I remember coming back with the script, and for some reason I must have been doing all right, and I said to my wife, I said, I'm not doing that. I've read it. It's rubbish. It's just a cafe owner, and it's just like he does bad food. And she went, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course you're going to do it. It's Jack D. You've got to go for the audition. I said, why not? I said, I've turned it down now. I said, no, you don't. You go. So I went. And I've done that now. I've learned now I can be wrong. I was totally wrong. You know, as it happens, they sort of changed it. But yeah, sometimes you get a bit, I'm better than that. You're not. You just got to go where the work is, really. But no, I've not made any huge errors. There's lots of stories of that, including people who were in Jaws, weren't there? The Roy Schneider line was turned. Roy Schneider role was turned down by loads, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of people. Like Tom Selleck. Yeah. The changed director because the main reason they changed director was the one that they wanted originally kept calling the shark a whale. So they were like, nah, piss off.
Judas says, do you not have a stunt double? Well, you don't. That's the thing. I mean, if you're a big Hollywood star, then yes, you do have a stunt double. I've more than once asked for a stuntman because they say, can you drive? I say, well, yeah. I said, well, can you drive that? I said, no. I'm not doing that. You get a stuntman in to do that.
Handbrake turns and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's not as bad as that, but there's simple things, like, just whack him around the face and do this. Hang on, where's our stunt director, our fight director? It's just things. But as a young actor new to the business, you don't have that voice. You don't feel you have that voice because you're so worried about upsetting people and never working again. But
yeah. Well, it's like I can relate that. I would say that in comedy where they're like, all right, you're doing 5 here, and I'm like, but I think this is where you should do the 5 minutes. But well, just do as you're told. I remember going to the Glee in Cardiff, which was brilliant, one of my favourite gigs. But I slept rough just to make sure I could make the gig. It's just you got to do what you got to do. Back in the day, it's just like I had to go there. I couldn't afford a hotel, but they didn't put us up at the time and do a trial for them. And I just went okay, and I didn't look about train times. I was never going to make it, so I just slept in the park. I wasn't bothered. It was like I needed to do this. That's why it seems like it was all worthwhile now.
Now a world expert on gin and talking.
Yeah. Keep in touch, kids. But there isn't a lot of help for us, but there is equity, and I understand that you're quite impassioned by equity. Yeah?
When you say us, you mean stand-up comedians?
Yes, comedians. To be honest,
equity is the trade union for the creative industries, and we do have stand-up. I think we are your trade union. I don't know what the take-up rate is of how many comedians are members of Equity, but yeah, I'm a member of Equity, and I sit on the governing body of Equity Council, which is we're up for re-election very soon as well. So any members, please vote. The ballot papers will be coming through. But I don't mind if I'm not. Just please vote, and it's it's to get serious for a minute. Our industry in particular, and your industry as well, is not in particular, you just as much as us, is we've got to try and save it in the next 2 or 3 years. And a lot of theatre, I'm talking about theatre in particular, and a lot of theatres aren't going to survive this, I'm afraid. And so the most important thing is to be a member of your trade union, and you've got a collective voice. And I'm a passionate sort of trade unionist, and I do what I can, but I'm not. I do it just to give something back, really. And it's interesting, and we all do it as volunteers, and it's my head's like this at the moment because there's so much going on. I just don't know what our industry is going to look like in the next month, let alone in the next 2 years, 3 years. I mean, 3 years, hopefully we'll be out of it, but yeah.
Well, you have genuinely got like some of the other jobs you've had in the past. This is the one thing I've got a little quiz for you, right? Because you have been in some of my favorite things of all time, and I know
Matt, I get asked about that a lot, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do get asked about that a lot. And I've had a very lucky career, and it's not down to me that I've been in shows that have gone on for 4 series. Lead Balloon 4 series, Fresh Meat 4 series, and anyway, I mean, lots of long running series. My Parents' Raiders 8 series. That's not down to me. That's just luck. You just get lucky, You can end up with stuff that goes for 1 series, and sometimes you don't work again for another 3 or 4 years. And there's just a lot of luck involved. That's you get involved in something that happens to be a great show, thanks to everything else that's there. So yeah, I have been lucky, but yeah. Sorry.
You've been lucky, but I mean, like, don't completely take away the fact that you've had to do something to get there as well. I mean, don't, because you have been in genuinely some of my favorite things about you have been in Jam, which was was it briefly? I don't know what did you do in Jam?
I wasn't in Jam.
Were you not?
No. And where did you get that from? It's not on anything that I've
It was
seen.
on the internet. Oh no.
I don't think it was. And the thing is that I get confused with someone who was in Jam.
Right.
It might be on the internet. There's an actor called David Conn or David Can, and I'm often, and because he played a lot of doctors in it. Chris Morris's dad was a doctor. Yeah, I sort of get confused with him, including by the controller of one of the big broadcasters who always confuses me with David Can. And I say, no, you said that before, and then it's never.
You white straight men do all look the same to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, white middle class males who sound like.
But also, you were in the Armando Iannucci show, who is one of my heroes, like 100%. He is a genius. The man's just everything he touches, like. And also The Thick of It, which was I've just rewatched again during this lockdown, which was so good.
Yeah, well, they're both related, of course. And in fact, when we did Struck Off and Die on Radio 4, Armando was one of the BBC light entertainment producers there. Jørn Magnussen produced our show, and Armando was there. But I didn't get to know him then. And then he asked me to be in, or I must have auditioned for it, for the Armando Iannucci shows. Mad sketch show. I mean, completely mad. You turn up and it was just weird stuff. But great fun. And then through that, he then it was an ask to be in the first series of Thick of It. And I was in the first series, a couple of the specials, and in the last series where I became leader of the opposition. So obviously it was going to be a long running and recurring character as the series went on, and they never made another one.
Good. Dan Miller? This is good. Are you talking Dan Miller? Yes, I am. Yeah, but then now here's your quiz, right? Just before we finish, because we're coming to the end now. But before I do,
I've run out of tonic.
Yeah, so I'm run out of tonic too.
I'm on neat gin now. That's why you're finishing, isn't it? You're thinking you either need a piss or you need tonic.
I've pissed myself 3 times since the start. Right now, this is you've got to establish whether these are from The Thick of It quotes or from actual Prime Minister's questions, right?
Well, okay, they're quotes from PMQs. Okay,
or Thick of It. Okay,
right.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I don't think I've watched it. I haven't. I don't think I have watched all of Thick of It. I wouldn't watch the ones in the middle because I wasn't in them.
Oh, the arrogance. The ones that I would
they're like that. You just think, well, if he hasn't fucking asked me to be back in series 2, I'm watching it. Shit, it looks rubbish. Okay, right. So you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Oh, that's the PMQs.
Yes, that was Tony Blair. All stops to electoral oblivion. Ding ding.
That's got to be Capaldi. That's got to be Thick of It.
The swearing, and I've actually advised my son, even though he's 15, to watch it to swear creatively.
Can I give you my swearing story?
Yes, absolutely.
So, on my show reel, you got to do these bloody show reels, and I'm barely in it, but I did a scene that became a bit of a meme as well. That was with Peter Capaldi, and we were in a cupboard. Well, you know the scene if you've seen it.
Yeah.
That is the best bit of swearing. I think it was either David Quantick or Simon Blackwell that wrote it, and he's trying to make Dan Miller run for Prime Minister, and he's saying, and he's going, so do it, and I'm going, he's just not getting it. He said, so you're saying I should run, and he, for some reason he just loses it a bit and goes, what the fuck is this? Tinker's Tailor Soldier Cunt. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, that's Viz-like, isn't it? It's just beautiful. The language, Taylor Soldier Cunt, and it just man, we laughed doing that scene. It was awful. We couldn't get through it. People that
can swear, but they can't. And people go, "Oh, you're a cockwomble," and everyone. I'm like, that's terrible swearing.
Yeah.
And I always advise them to watch Capaldi The swearing in that, and in the loop, I don't think I've ever nearly injured myself as much as that scene where he goes, it's not easy peasy lemon squeezy. He goes, no, it's not. It's difficult lemon difficult. That is one of the best lines.
Another film I don't think I saw.
Oh, you should watch it. It's great.
Yeah,
right.
No, I'm not going to watch it. He didn't get me in to see it. I actually did the read through for it.
Yeah. Why should you watch any film you're not part of? Yeah.
No, only the ones that I should be part of.
What film do you think you should have been part of that you weren't allowed to be part of?
Jaws.
Yeah. Snap. I mean, I'll be honest, I was -4 at the time, but I mean, surely.
No, In the Loop was, I did the read through for it. I remember doing the read through for it, all thinking, I'll be in with a chance of getting a part in this then. Because I read the Tom Hollander part, I think, because he couldn't make it. And I did the read through, and then, but no, nothing. I was checked out, but no, it just didn't. Sometimes it just doesn't work out off it. Well, he's done quite a few series since, hasn't he, Armando? In fact, no, I don't like Armando Iannucci, actually.
Prick. Sorry, Armando. I'll be in anything that you make. I watched Four Lions again the other day. God, oh mate, he's so good, isn't he? Right, have I got anything else to ask you?
Hang on. Was he in Four? Was Four Lions his? That was Chris Morris, wasn't it?
That was Chris Morris, but I assume Armando was there. Actually, what the one last thing I'll say to you before you went on, you've done a lot of stuff, right? You've done shit. I mean, ridiculous amounts of stuff. I mean, you've been acting more than you haven't been acting because I used to go out with the lass that went to Arts Ed, and her average was 1 job a year. I mean, she might have been shade. She was a horrible person, but actors, she said the actors' average is 1 job a year. But like you seem to have been just consistently working, which is brilliant.
Well, yeah, but I expect my average is about that when you realise, I started in 1990, so it's and then the parts. It's not quite as simple as that. The parts sort of dry up as well, particularly for women, but also for men as you get older. There's just less parts out there. Yeah, just writing. But apart from Last Tango, which writes for people who are over 50. So,
but the one that
you should watch it. It's all on. No, it's not all on something. It's all on iPlayer, I think, at the moment.
Downloading it now.
Yeah, right. You will. Anyway, the last thing I can ever imagine. I've never met you, Matt, but I've learned enough about you tonight to realise you ain't going to sit and watch Last Tango.
Correct.
You'd be surprised, actually. It's not
bad. But I'll tell you, once this finishes, stay on. I need a word with you as well. But the one thing that you were in that really excited us, you were in you did voiceover in Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah.
Black Flag. That was one of my favourite games.
Yeah, I've never done many of those. That's the only thing I've ever done like that, and it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, you sometimes. Oh yeah, my son sort of told me. I didn't even know I'd ended up in it. I was a prisoner or something in a cage, and he does PlayStation, and he sort of saw that I was in it. But yeah, no, it wasn't a big money job or anything. I was also the voice of erectile dysfunction on television for 2 years. So swings and roundabouts.
Sexy pirate prisoner to flaccid man.
No, but the games industry is an amazingly fantastic industry. I mean, they spend as much money making those games they do on major Hollywood.
It's overtaken Hollywood as the biggest moneymaker. What was Grand Theft Auto in 24 hours took $1 billion. In 24 hours, that is madness.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
£1 billion profit.
Is that what that you download it? You mean?
In 24 hours, they made £1 billion.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Right. Now, thank you very much, Tony. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed that. That was great.
Yes, great. I've drunk a lot of gin. I'm now meeting up with some friends from an old play that I was in, which is really nice. It's one of the nice things about the whole COVID thing is that obviously we're talking to more people, but the idea of this, you see, of having online interactions and meetings, I think that will be something that continues into our new normal, if you like. Yeah. And it's great. Yeah, really good. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thanks everyone.
Quiz, though. You didn't finish the quiz.
Quiz. Great, okay. Before I start,
I'll have a quiz.
Number 3, he should get into his DeLorean and go back to 1985 and stay there.
You should get to what, Orion?
He should get in his DeLorean,
Yeah.
go back to 1985 and stay there.
Thick of it.
No, that was David Cameron, the horrible prick. Number 4, all that hot curry is getting to you. Calm yourself, man.
I have to say thick of it again.
PMQs again, John Burkow. There were some proper lines in PMQs, I tell you. I don't think I've met anyone quite so proud, yet quite so useless.
That's got to be thick of it. I have to say.
It is thick of it, yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. I need
That's
to go.
all we need.
It's all on Netflix. It's all on Netflix, isn't it? Thick of it. So I saw the.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, just go and watch it. It's so good. This one was my favourite. If he can't stand the heat, he'd better get out of his second kitchen.
Oh, it's got to be thick of it.
Nah, that's David Cameron.
Oh, David Cameron's such a funny guy.
He is. I mean,
so. I mean, he's amazing,
right now.
isn't he?
Yeah, funny guy. Smarmy little prick, what he is. Anyway, no politics on this. That's not politics, but if you voted Tory, you're horrible. But anyway, well, thank you very much, Tony. We really appreciate that. I hope you had fun, because I certainly did.
Yeah, good fun. Really good fun.
Just
nice
the point. I'm enjoying myself.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, mate. And thank you to everybody. And thank you to everyone who's donated and etc. Really appreciate it. So that was Tony. That was absolutely brilliant. Next week, we have pretty boring. It's only Johnny Vegas. Yeah, we've got Johnny Vegas next week. So do come along and watch me interview or be interviewed by or not be able to shut up Johnny Vegas. It'll be absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much for coming along. If you want to donate, you can donate. There is a link. If you can, that's great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. Take care. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Good night.